Get the off of me. Don't ever do that to me again. Lav is better than all
both
of us put together.
Both of you.
What
the?
He threatened legal action, and then I had to clarify the age.
I'm glad he did.
On the stream where he is bringing up the false allegation, and he doesn't prove that she was of age.
How would he even prove that? He doesn't want to give her age.
What a psychotic, insane thing to do.
So now this is just me.
And
so now it's not about.
What I'm saying loud.
She just hates
No,
you,
because
Lav. She
I
just hates
don't
you.
really know where you're going with this. Because
can you
first it was an allegation.
Okay, stop, both of you.
Third of them have some level of trauma from assault in their life, right? And I mean, this is professional women across politics, across game development, across academia. It's a large group of people. I think on the other, you've got situations like, and I hope we get to talk about this, Lav and Hasan, right? This is someone that was just very falsely accused of something. This is just an outright objective lie, and she tried to destroy his reputation. And, in this particular case, I think one of the things that really helped Hasan was the fact that he had an entire lifetime of talking about enthusiastic consent and really earning the trust of his audience. So what I'm saying is, in that kind of ambivalent situation, what you're talking about, it could go either way.
Wait, what the
right?
fuck
But
are you
it's
talking
not.
about?
Max.
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna finish what I'm saying.
She's gish galloping. Wick, I would like you to stop her. She's gish galloping. You asked her a very specific question about how she squares the circle of
That's his
ambivalence
daughter.
with her enthusiastic
Wick,
consent.
I'm going to point this
with her
out.
enthusiastic
Max has
consent,
talked
mainstream
for 2
mainstream-
minutes
Both of you.
more than
I'm
I
going
have.
to mute you
that's
both
not
right now
dude,
until
that's not true.
I'm going to mute you both just so we can reset this, okay? I'm trying to have the best conversation that we can here so that we are understanding, right? And I understand, perhaps, right, Brianna, if you would clearly answer the question that was given, and then we can allow Max to respond. Just be brief, be concise. I will let you have the time you need. But again, conciseness, and then we want this to be a discussion after all, not a lecture. Let me unmute you both and go again. Okay, Brianna, the floor is yours, concisely.
Can you
and then
repeat
we will pass
that
it on.
question? And I do just
Certainly.
want to point out, Max has talked almost twice as much as I have so
I understand,
far.
but this is...
Okay, that's not true.
I got it right here, dude.
I have not been keeping time myself. I cannot speak to the time. But I will say this. The specific question asked, right, is when we use the model of enthusiastic consent, it can, right, make it seem that those who are trying to persuade others who might at the first be ambivalent, if you will, to having sex, right, but are persuaded to do so, that interaction is predatory.
Or not to do so.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not what I'm talking about, though.
Oh, then can you maybe clarify for me as well?
Okay. The language of enthusiastic consent does not... I'll tell you a story. Okay, first of all...
Briefly, so we can make
Okay,
it...
first of all, what you said about Lav. You're trying to piss me off. I know you're trying to piss me off by bringing that up. Okay, second of all, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. You just snuck it in there. Okay, story time. I
can't believe he's already triggered at the outset of this conversation. It's just starting, and Brianna's already triggered the out of him. She's powerful.
I was with my ex-wife, and she was trying to give me a blowjob in a hotel room, and she looked up at me, and we made eye contact, and she stopped, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "You look really upset." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know why you're saying that. Don't ever do this to me again. Don't ever say that to me again."
Okay, I should have made this prediction before. I feel like this is and I admit, I might not have seen every Max story with him and Shaylin or him and an ex or whatever, but this is every single Max story that I've ever heard. Okay, here it goes. So there I was, standing in the line at Target. We're already at the register. I've placed all my items on the belt. And my ex-wife touches my shoulder and she says, Would you like me to get a candy bar? I can't put into words the rage that I felt at that moment. I turned around and I screamed at her. And I said, "You stupid slut. Why the fuck would you ever ask me that question when we're already at the goddamn register?" Then, after I'd screamed at her, people behind her in line performatively got upset at me because they're supposed to. And you won't even believe this next part of the story. She tries to manipulate me with tears. So here I am in the checkout aisle, being essentially raped by the woman that I trust enough to call my wife, humiliated in front of every single person in the store, simply because she wanted to get her way in the power exchange that we had at the... I feel like this is like every Mac story. It starts off with like the other person does something like pretty normal, and then he has like this massive reaction to it. He becomes a borderline or actually abusive, and then he goes on like a 55-minute explanation for like, this is why my response is okay, and every single person around me's feelings were actually irrational, and why everybody needs to bow to my personal temper tantrums. It feels like that's every single story that he has. I'm like, bro, chill. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
This is super invasive and violating. F you. Get the f off of me. Don't ever do that to me again. Do not ever stop a sex act to ask me if I'm okay. I will tell you if I'm not okay. I had been raised with the feminist values of enthusiastic consent that you're referencing. And I did not have the language to even conceptualize, maybe I'm not okay, but maybe I still want a blowjob. Maybe I am upset. Maybe I have a lot of conflicting feelings about what's happening. But I had no way to even begin to grapple with the idea of having mixed feelings while getting a blowjob. And I had had a lot of blowjobs with mixed feelings, and throughout all of them, I just pushed those feelings down because I didn't even literally have the language to even think about what was happening. So I'm not talking about, you guys both still keep reducing this to, okay, but what's going to give us the best like manual for how to navigate the average situation? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an internal ambivalence and how that fits into our conception of consent and conversations about consent. And Brianna is telling me that I shouldn't even have those conversations.
Okay, Brianna, the floor is yours.
I'm not saying that at all, dude. I'm saying, in fact, for the third time in this talk today, I'm saying
she's
that
laughing
is
at him.
between you.
Uh-oh.
I'm saying that's between you and a partner. That's for you to decide. If she ends up feeling like that's rape, it's going to end up, going through the court system and getting adjudicated. I'll decide if I'm on that jury, right? For you, if it goes the other way, you're going to be trying to defend yourself from false allegations. I'm sorry if you don't want to hear this, exactly like Lav made against Hasan. So,
can I
it's
just
going to
ask-
have to do.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm giving
I
you
think
an
false.
example.
Seriously,
Rick,
you're just shoehorning
okay.
it in
Please
stop.
because
I'm
y'all
gonna-
like Lav.
Okay, both of you.
Lav is better
Give me a
than all
moment.
of us put together.
Both of you.
What
Please.
What?
To be clear, we're going to be talking about consent and what that means, right? Unless, very briefly and concisely, you can show me how the Lav thing plays into this concisely, please, then we're going to have to just move on from that because it's going to be a sticking point. It's not going to work, right? So just in the interest of the conversation as a whole, I'm going to give you a brief chance to square that circle for me.
Do you want to know why? Can I show you? And this is why I'm trying to do better at this. I already do better than most people. But does anybody know one of the reasons why Brianna has been excelling so much in these conversations? It's because she likes you now. It's because she listens. She's not insane. It's because she does a lot of research. She always has like examples and shit to bring up, and it makes her points like so much more powerful. Like, Max, you said this. Max, remember this. Her like deciding to dig through videos and watch shit and like come up with like conclusions and stuff. It's very, very, very powerful. She's like doing that is very, very good at bolstering her arguments. It makes it very difficult to argue against if you're just, making shit up.
Otherwise, we're just gonna go on. So please.
Sure. Then really try to hear me here. I'm not bringing this up because I don't.
Yeah,
think
you are.
Max, please let me finish. I'm not bringing this up to like upset you or anything like
Okay,
that.
but why are you?
Wick, you've got to let me finish talking to you.
Okay, I'm just trying to get to the meat of it.
Just let me know when I can talk.
Go ahead.
Never.
Floor's yours.
Thank
You
you.
can never talk.
Max, please. Go ahead.
So this is the contention that I have. Enthusiastic consent is a very good model because it protects everyone involved on both sides of the equation, right?
Yeah.
This, generally speaking, is what we are worried about. I think women are obviously
No,
worried.
that's what you are worried.
Max,
That's
you
not-
gotta
that's
let her
not-
finish. You gotta let her
I
finish
can't.
uninterrupted.
I can't do it, dude. You gotta mute me. I
Okay,
can't
well
do
then
it.
I will help you. I understand. I muted you. Brianna,
Thank you very much.
Go
Wick.
ahead.
I appreciate that. So, in my view, I think there are two situations here, right? You have women, they're obviously afraid of getting trauma that lasts their entire life, right? I think on the other hand, I think the reason we're having all these discussions about consent in the manosphere and, these edge cases about, well, she thinks she wants to do it, but she doesn't, is because I think a lot of men out there are afraid of getting false allegations, right? In my view, the Lav situation with Hasan, I would love to tell you as a feminist, like this situation never, ever, ever happens. It does. This was an extremely high profile case. I'm just going to quote this from Lav right here. Max and I are separate. I'm not part of his project in any way. I'm not trying to attack you, Max. I'm trying to bring up the most notable example of false allegations to happen recently. It was really upsetting to anyone serious about having a feminist conversation about consent to have someone out there making wildly false claims. So
Okay.
to me, it's that mixture of both of them.
okay. I will now unmute you, Mr. Girl, and you are free to go ahead.
What's the false claim you're talking about that was so irresponsible or evil for the feminist movement?
Uh-oh.
If I can talk, I'm happy to answer that.
go
So
ahead.
the thing that happened is Lab basically came forward on a popular person's stream, and she said that she had a nuke to drop on Hasan. And eventually she made an allegation that Hasan had sex with someone that was underage.
Where did she make the allegation?
Was it Mr. Chud's server, Mr. Chud's Discord, if I'm remembering
Logic.
correctly? Yeah, Chud Logic, his Discord. And basically, this obviously got picked up by a bunch of people. Hasan had a very long stream, basically calling it false. And eventually, Lav admitted it was a complete mistake and she was erroneous. I've got the quote right here. It's not my story to tell, and I should not have told it, along with apologizing for making those false claims
Wait, is
about
that
Hasan.
her admitting that the claim is false?
Yes, that was part of it.
When did she say that the claim was false?
In the same stream I'm quoting right there.
Do you have a quote?
I don't have that with me right now.
Okay.
Oh no.
I am not familiar enough to say either way, so I cannot weigh in on
She
this.
didn't have the exact quote.
Okay. My understanding is that Lav said that Hasan had sex with a 17-year-old when he was 25 in a Discord server with maybe 100 people in it, something like that. She might have repeated it in Chud's server, which is larger. She then made a public statement on Patreon where she said that he had sex with a 19-year-old. Or no, she
said 17 initially.
said that he had sex with her friend and it was legal.
Wait, am I crazy? Or in the Patreon, wasn't it 17 initially and then she edited it to say 19? Am I crazy? So does anybody have like I want to see like, well, let's look at actual evidence. Does anybody have like an actual screenshot of the page? I thought it was 17 and then she edited it later to be 19. Is there proof of the editing? That's what I'm asking. Does anybody have a screenshot from the page? That would be nice to have. Max's subreddit calls him out for this check. Max can't stop himself from lying about Lav. $17. Okay.
Duds, I'm about to drop a Hasan nuke.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
No,
DM it to me.
stop!
DM it to-
Stop
DM
doing
it to
that.
me.
No.
Lav, you're gonna end your whole fucking career on this
I
shit.
know,
Don't do
I
it. Not
know.
in a good way. Literally, it's not worth it.
I know.
So
But every
stop.
time his name is brought up, I'm like vibrating.
No,
Wait,
you
you're not-
shouldn't be.
wait.
Stop.
But do you not like Hasan?
Just know Hasan is well known in Los Angeles.
No.
Okay, hold
Yo,
on. Let's
chill,
chill.
Steven,
Let's
come on.
chill.
Hasan's talking about Lav. We gotta hop over and listen for a minute.
Okay.
Fuck, where is the first website? Does anybody know where the first... I wish there was a screenshot of the website. I'm almost positive. I mean, I'll say, I guess you shouldn't believe me if you don't have, if I can't produce a screenshot, but I'm almost positive that on the website, the first time she posted it on her Patreon, that it said 17-year-old, and then she later edited it from the blowback. But maybe I don't... Maybe...
That is actually really important,
I know she said 17 in Discord servers. Well, she said she was like 17.
what you just said. Legitimately. If she did say it inside your Discord, but here she is saying that like this was a secret, that means that this secret that she's apparently been holding or whatever, she's representing it now as this secret that she was holding, but she was actually never really holding it that way, unless I guess that is actually really...
Damn, maybe it was just in Discord. Maybe she said something different in the Patreon. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what her first Patreon post was, but... She might have said underage instead of 17, and then she said 17 in Discord servers.
Okay. So I agree that these are contradictory statements. The second one was made after the first, as time goes. And in the second statement, she said that the girl was of legal age. Okay. So your contention is, despite her making a public statement that he did not statutorily rape her friend, because she had made an earlier statement in a Discord server that was not true, or that contradicts that statement, we and every streamer on Earth should parade around the first quote because it contradicted the second and string Lav up as the false accuser.
I think she was a false accuser in this situation. I think it speaks to this nightmare scenario that a lot of men have, that they will be falsely accused of sexual misconduct. And I think for me, as someone who has, like I've literally run for office, this is something I feel very seriously about, right? I think it really undermines...
My question is about why does everybody want to talk about Lavs? It always comes back to Lav. I don't think that, listen, I've been in this the false accusation business, receiving them for quite a while. People, streamers, are saying all.
Hasan Packer was my very young friend when he was not so young. It was legal, but he's not someone publicly referred to, much less. I thought the verbiage was different when it first got posted. But maybe not. This is after the edit. Yeah, but I don't want to say there was an edit if I can't prove it. I thought there was. There should be a screenshot of it initially. Here is Hasan talking that the OG post was edited.
Dude. Anyway, I don't know who the fuck any of these people are, okay? She's just like talking about her own relationships, and fucking out of nowhere, she just drops this. And she deleted it. The original post, original post here literally had stated that she was 17. She changed
Oh, fuck, was it?
it. She edited it. Lastly, he brought up the secret I told him.
I feel like it was edited, right? I want to see the original still, though, before I...
all kinds of things about me on stream, in Discord servers, constantly. And a lot of them aren't true. But I don't feel the need to find every single false or contradictory accusation about myself and try to publicly humiliate the person who made them. People call me Mr. Rapist in my subreddit.
Sorry.
They call me a rapist constantly.
Okay.
But you know
Yeah.
what? That's okay. I don't think that I don't think the cops are going to come like arrest me because somebody called me a rapist in Discord server. People, okay, and Hasan, for his part, I think handled it really well. He just said he did a brief stream saying, "Hey, that's not true. I don't appreciate it," and then he fucking stopped talking about it. So I don't think that's a. I don't think that's a. I don't think
If I could
that's
just-
not
hold
the.
on,
That's
Mike, hold
wait.
on,
That's
Mike,
not
hold on.
that's not the nightmare scenario. The nightmare scenario is that somebody goes to the mainstream media and the police and makes a sworn statement that you raped them.
Got you.
Not that you had sex with their friend
I
when
wanna
they were
give-
17.
I wanna-
Who cares if
okay.
Hasan had sex with a
We are going,
17-year-old?
Mr. Girl, right?
God, he's being so dense right here. This is high levels of density, dangerous levels of density.
Right. Oh, I want Brianna to be able to respond to this, so we're gonna
Repeat
let
this
Brianna
very
respond
carefully.
to this.
Really
Go
try to
ahead.
hear me here, Max. The reason that Hasan got the benefit of the doubt from the community, from me, when I first heard that accusation, I go, you know what? Hasan has talked about enthusiastic consent a trillion times on his stream. I know what he thinks about it. I know that he has talked about this with the Andrew Callahan situation. And this is someone that I personally am prepared to give the benefit of the doubt to. So, in my view, this is a case of that standard, like protecting him against
To be
certain
clear,
things.
Brianna,
No,
just
when
real
somebody-
quick, real quick, let me ask Brianna because I want clarity on this too.
Sure.
Brianna, so your contention here is that by espousing this idea of enthusiastic consent, that doing so will protect the people who does that from false allegation. Is that your argument?
I want to be really clear here.
It doesn't make any
because
sense.
it's tricky language. Okay, what I'm saying is if we as a society, if we are saying the standard we hold ourselves to overall, when people are engaging in discourse, in sexual intercourse, right, is enthusiastic consent. I believe that's going to lead to less situations that are uncomfortable for everyone involved.
Okay, what do you think, Mr. Girl?
I think saying you believe in enthusiastic consent and talking about it has no bearing on whether you privately rape somebody. It's not like people who rape people ideologically believe in rape. They are just doing it even though they don't agree with it or think it's wrong.
Can I ask both of you? This is a question.
Wait,
for
wait,
both
wait,
of
no,
you.
stop. You guys are, this is terrible. This is the worst conversation ever. No, I don't want to do this. It is very obvious from your line of questioning and Brianna's answers that she doesn't really have a way to tie in her bringing up Lav and Hasan to what she's talking about. It really has nothing to do with what we're talking about. No one thinks.
I don't
No
agree
one.
with that.
I know you don't. No one thinks that Lav is saying that Hasan brutally
My question
rapes.
has nothing to do with laugh, to be clear.
I know.
I'm
I
trying to move
understand
off
that.
of it.
I know you're trying to move off of it, but I don't want to. I don't want Brianna to get away with this. I don't
How do
wanna
you
move off
how
of
do
it.
you suggest that I hold her accountable?
By letting me finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
It's a really thankless task for me to have to lay out all of the different ways that what you said isn't related to what we're talking about. I don't.
Man, they're really just done on this point, huh? It's over now?
The question that was put to you, Brianna, was how do you square the broad application of enthusiastic consent with all of the many outliers that all of us experience at one time or another? It's the idea that there's anybody who goes through their entire sex life without experiencing extreme ambivalence or confusion at one point or another. What Wick was asking you is how do you square that? How do you teach somebody to navigate those situations if you're only teaching them about the ideal, the feminist Boy Scout ideal of how you should handle those situations? You bringing up Lav and in Lav's the statement that triggered the dog pile on her most public statement in an essay was that Hasan didn't statutorily rape her friend. Now I understand that Yes, if you can read her. You want me to read her Patreon post to you right now? Maybe
I'm
we
very
can clear up.
respectful. Finish. Go ahead.
Maybe no. Maybe we can clear up this bit of misinformation.
Do we disagree that this whole thing started because she made the false claim that Hasan raped a
Yes, we
child?
disagree. That claim had been made much earlier.
It started from there, man.
No,
That was
no,
the
it
issue at
didn't.
hand.
No, I didn't. That's not true. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, in the meantime, while he's getting that up, I will ask Brianna just
Sure.
briefly.
Okay. Wait, I got it.
You got it? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Steven.
Jesus, are they talking about me or?
I don't have it. Wait, I have it.
Is that their conversations about me?
You're teasing me, buddy.
I guess Hasan just hallucinated the video where he talked about the false allegations, which is where I heard about it. So,
Well, that's not actually contradicting anything I just said to you.
Okay.
What I said
That's
is
his voices.
that Lav made a statement in a Discord server that
Right.
Hasan had sex with her friend when she was like 17.
okay.
She then made this statement, which triggered all of the streams and responses. Even though this statement was that, okay, here we go. Hasan Piker, Hasan Piker slept with my very young friend when he was not so young. It was legal. But he's denounced men publicly for doing much less. I don't care about it, and she's never going to come forward, but the fact exists nonetheless. Nothing will come of it, and it won't be held over my head.
Okay.
Okay.
Would we both agree that Lav has a real history of changing her story 5 or 6 times after the fact?
You're developing your own little history of changing your story 5
No.
or 6 times if you don't answer this question.
I'm not
Do you
a
agree
subject
that?
here. Sure, go ahead.
Oh, well, you are now, because now you're lying or misinformed. You're either willful. Now you've been informed. So this was her public statement. This was the Patreon post that triggered all the streams about how Lav falsely accused Hasan Piker of rape. So tell me.
If that is true, it's not to my understanding. I don't know.
I know that.
and
That's why I'm trying to
Max, let me
repair.
finish, please.
I'm trying to
Max,
repair your understanding.
Max.
Okay, you
it
can just say
seems to
you
me
didn't know.
that
It's okay. You didn't know.
Hasan, in the main video that I saw, the main
Holy
issue
shit.
she took issue with was the allegation that she was underage at the fact. And I think that the mens rea that Lav demonstrated by saying on a popular streamer's site, saying, I'm about to drop a nuke on Hasan, right? I don't think like, oh, Hasan has empower
That was
balance.
she
in
didn't
his
say
relationships.
she didn't say I'm about to drop a nuke.
Yes,
on
she
Hasan.
did.
She did say that almost verbatim, I think, on my stream, right?
She
No.
did.
Okay.
It was,
tell me-
I'm
show me
going to
the quote.
drop a nuke on Hasan or something.
Do you have do you have a quote
You-
for that, Brianna?
I
Do you
believe
have, like, a
what
clip?
she said is
fair enough.
I have a Hassan nuke. I don't think she said
Yeah.
I'm going to drop a nuke on.
That's a
Oh,
distinction.
well,
Oh my god, Max is so pedantically stupid here. What was the clip? Can somebody link me the exact clip? What did she say exactly? Okay. Crazy how she likes to invent all these new women. Has had sex with 2 of my friends when they were underage and failed. These are like messages she's posting like in semi-public Discord servers. So, unhinged. Both of those are probably fake, by the way.
Fucking psychopathic losers.
Uh-oh.
And why would you? First of all, you just lied there. That first statement is a lie. Also, why did you say this? You can't do that. That is like not in the rules. Okay, you're just a bad person. Okay,
Anyway.
you just lied and then you followed up and said,
Dude, these lab DMs are wild.
Yeah, it's on nuke.
Which one?
It never went off.
That's not real. I'm almost positive it's not real. I would just
Yeah, I thought it was way too much.
Yeah.
But again, why would someone say that?
Well, because they have everything to do.
Oh, I just. Wait, did you talk to them?
I just know. You just have to trust me. There are a few things I would say I know, and I know this one. Okay.
Sons, I'm about to drop a Hasan nuke.
I'm about to drop a Hasan. Okay, so MrGirl is just lying here.
Uh-oh.
He's just lying.
Those
Without a
are
difference.
different. I think those are pretty different.
I think that's a distinction without a difference. So,
Well,
but the
I don't
point
think
that
so.
I'm
I think in
bringing
one
up here-
she's clearly stating an intent to destroy him, and the other
Correct.
she's saying I know something bad about him.
Okay.
Correct. So an imbalance in the power differential is not something
Okay.
that is a nuke, right?
We are-
Saying someone slept with
We are
an underage
dancing.
woman.
We are dancing
This is,
there.
yeah, I
Rick, you gotta stop
don't
talking
want to do this. I just wanted to say for the record
It's
that
pretty insane that like if he just had like a misquote, then maybe it would be okay. but like he doesn't understand the quote or the intention, which feels a lot more malicious here. Like if he just had the exact quote wrong, that'd be fine. But he's missing the quote and the intention. And I know him and Lav must have spent a lot of time going over this. So it's really weird to fuck that up.
That the statement that Lav made that triggered all of this was a public statement that Hasan didn't rape her friend. Some particular. Okay, this is her Patreon statement. I'll say it again. It was legal. Hasan Piker slept with my very young friend when he was not so young. It was legal, but he's denounced men publicly for doing much less. That is the public statement that she made that caused all of these other streamers to dig out her other statements in Discord servers that he had sex with her friend when she was like 17.
Okay.
I agree that these statements are contradictory, but I think my view of the situation is that the private accusation was brought out after the public non-accusation in order to smear her. And Hasan was just a casualty in that process. Lav was not trying to attack Hasan.
Then why did she say she wanted to drop a nuke on Hasan?
She didn't say that, and you just admitted she didn't say that. What she said is she had a nuke
Max
on
is
Hasan. You
lying.
said it was a distinction without a difference. Now you're going back to the original quote showing that.
Just so you know, I have a huge nuke on MrGirl. Like, if you say something like that, of course it's going to sound like you're trying to attack somebody. It's so silly to say that, like, if I were to say something, it doesn't sound like I'm threatening to drop something. Like, oh, I just want you guys to know that. But I'm not going to do anything else with it. I just wanted to say that. Like, it's so stupid to say that. Why would you...
That actually you do think there's a difference, and I'm glad you agree with me on that.
No. What I'm saying is that intends an attempt to attack.
It
what
does,
you
but
just
she
said,
didn't say that.
Max,
Okay,
what you
you're
just
not
said
allowed
me
to
is
say.
that she
Okay,
didn't.
Wick, I would like to make a rule that when we're making accusations about other people who aren't here, exact quotes have to be provided with screenshots.
Damn.
That's ridiculous. Let's have a conversation.
Okay. So
There's
I'm
no
gonna.
there's no reason to bring up Lav in the fucking
I will
conversation
mute
in
you
the first
both.
place.
I will mute you both while we discuss this because I do want it to be a conversation, but I do think that it is a reasonable request to at least have the quote on hand. Is that a reasonable request we can agree to, Brianna? Yes. Do you think that's a good idea?
No, I don't.
No.
I think
Okay.
it's
Can you tell me
clear
why?
that I came prepared with a lot of research in front of me and a lot of quotes prepared. I think anyone out there looking at this can see I did my homework on this. There it is.
Okay. Is this, MrGirl, is this going to be a point that we can move off of? Because I would absolutely love to move off
I would
of.
like
There's
you.
so many
I would like to
different
hear
things.
Wick. I would like to hear your opinion.
On?
Do you, if Brianna doesn't have the quotes, and doesn't know the timeline, and doesn't know what she's talking about?
This is pretty gross. He's not like... I'm trying to think of... I don't think Max would lie, but it's so strange that he would be so confused here. Like, he's doing the debate bro thing of like, you have to provide a quote, but it's because he's wrong. And it's like that you have to provide the quote is like his shield now. Like, as long as she doesn't have the exact quote, time-stamped and saved from a video, I'm safe. Like, there's no way she can call me out here. I'm completely and totally 100% safe. Because realistically, she's not going to have every single quote for every single thing that she's talking about.
I have described a timeline, to be clear.
You have described a timeline, but it was incorrect. Everything you've said
your
about
opinion.
this, in my do you want me to tell you the dates these things happened?
You had a question for me? Maybe.
Yeah, my
you
question
can ask me.
my question is, do you personally think that if Brianna does not have the quotes and dates, and that she is ironically making unfounded accusations about somebody else's unfounded accusations, which is the entire thing that Lav was worried about in the first place, is that somebody was going to trot out something she had said in Discord server and use it to smear her, which is exactly what's happening right now. Do you agree that Brianna, in order to be prepared to do that, she should really have exact quotes and the dates that those quotes were said, since she's already shown that even the slightest change to a quote can completely change its meaning?
Okay. So I will say this. I do not know enough about the situation to know who is correct here. I don't
I'm not
know,
asking you
right?
to, that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you, as the person who's platforming this conversation, are you comfortable with a contested accusation about somebody else's accusations, somebody who is specifically afraid of words being put in their mouth?
I understand. Okay, I think
Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable platforming conversation about that without exact quotes and dates?
Can I have a moment to consider?
Yeah.
So let me tell you my thought process here. I think that Brianna in previous discussions has demonstrated that she is well researched, that she is able to get research up. She's able to back up what she says, perhaps not in the moment, but she has demonstrated to me in the past that she will back it up. So if she does not have the quotes now, she will bring them forward. Also, if she is incorrect and finds out that she is incorrect, she has before and will again retract and change. And in that context, I am comfortable with her at least bringing it up. I'm also comfortable, to be clear, with you challenging her assertions, providing your own quotes. Is that not clear?
Yeah, the retract and change thing, as I think we're seeing here in the example of Lav.
Who's right about the timeline to the Patreon post included 17-year-old sex accusation? I don't know if the Patreon, and I'm not sure the Patreon post initially, but Lav had made those accusations, so those were flying all over Twitter and all over Discord. Lav had made those accusations, and that was the spirit of Lav's accusations. Otherwise, she would have never called it a nuke. Like, what is the nuke that Hasan fucked a 19-year-old when he was 25? That's not a nuke, right? It was a nuke is because she was heavily implying that it was an underage sexual encounter. That's what she told me privately. That's on Discord. That's what she's told everybody on Discord. Like, that's what she was typing in Chud's thing. That's what she was typing everywhere. Those are why all those messages that I showed on my screen, that like all of these are public. Like, it's not even private. All these are public.
Doesn't work that well. So I don't see how it's relevant to the topic. It just seems like you're trying to spring this on me.
I did want to move off of it.
It is relevant, Max.
You wanting to move off of it.
Look, let me.
Is not.
Y'all have talked so much. Give me just 2 minutes here, okay?
You have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
My central like idea here, Max, I'm really hoping I can sell you on today. So we have to get past this idea that in order for women to win, men have to lose. And we have to move past this idea for men to win, women have to lose, which I think is a general theme in many of your statements about consent. We're all working together. We should have mutually entangled interests. I believe that if enthusiastic consent is the standard, I think it's very clear for men what's going on. I think it's very clear for women what's going on. It's going to cause less harm than these situations. And I'm giving you an example of a situation. It's not the only one I have today. I've got some studies right here from the CDC I would love to get to. But I think it's a really good example. We have to get past this idea that the other person has to lose. As a society, like mutually entangled interests, competing groups with mutually entangled interests tend to be very, very stable. This is why we've had the longest period of prosperity and relative peace around the world since World War II. So I think if we can all agree to this standard, I can convince you that generally speaking, this is in your best interest, and I agree generally speaking, this is in women's best interest. I think this is the best place to move to.
Okay. Are we good?
Me?
Well, I'm asking Brianna, did you get out what you needed to?
Okay.
I give you the space? Excellent.
Okay, Wick, I have a couple questions for you.
Please do.
What is the topic that we agreed not to discuss?
We agreed to there are 2 topics. Do you want me to actually bring them up?
Mine, on my side.
Oh, you didn't want to talk about Destiny.
Okay. Do you think that by bringing up Lav's accusation that Hasan didn't rape her friend, that Brianna is tangentially bringing up, since it was in a Patreon post about Destiny?
What the fuck?
Like, we all know that. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Okay. Did you know that the day before Lav was crucified for her Hasan allegation that she had called Destiny the Harvey Weinstein?
I will maybe short circuit some of this. I am not familiar with I know it happened. I don't know any of the details, so I am ignorant.
I'm trying to make the case to you that Brianna is bringing up Destiny. I mean, she literally already said, Lav said this on the stream of a very popular streamer.
Okay. So how about this? then?
Brianna, who are you referring to when you said very popular streamer?
I'm trying to show you respect by not mentioning that.
Who are you referring to when you said that?
It's clearly Destiny.
Okay. Do you think that when we agreed not to talk about Destiny, was it your understanding that we were agreeing not to say the word Destiny, or that we were agreeing not to talk about the person Destiny?
I'm telling you in good faith.
I just want you to answer this question. I just want you to answer this question.
I think
do you think that we
well within good faith with you, Max, and I think that honestly, I think
so.
we should move on. I do.
I don't want to move on. You want to talk about Lav? Let's talk about Lav. Let's talk about Lav all
right,
fucking day. I
let's
love
giddy up.
Lav.
Giddy up.
That's so creepy that he says that like that.
Do you think we were agreeing to not say the word Destiny or talk about the person?
I think, as I said, I
Could you
think
please
we were
just answer
agreeing.
it? Are you not? You can just say, are you not willing to answer the question? Are you not willing to answer?
Wick, can you please step in, please?
Okay, what?
From my point of view,
Give her like 30 seconds to get it out, and let's see if she can.
This is
From my
a this
point
is
of
this is a
view-
this is a multiple choice question. I don't want a 30-second answer.
the answer is no. I'm not bringing up Destiny.
No, the question is, do you think that we were agreeing not to say his name or talk about him?
I think both probably.
Okay. So you agree that do you agree that you did bring him up?
No.
Okay,
further
so I
questions.
will step in here. Right? I think this is so tangential, right, to
Yep.
the topic we did agree to be about. Again, I'm ignorant. I'm too ignorant on the Lav Destiny situation.
That's totally fine. That's why I'm trying to fill in the gaps of.
I understand, but when you're asking me also to make a judgment call on whether or not she has broken the rules of the agreement, correct?
Well,
Is
just
that
based
you're
on what
asking?
she just said, I think it's pretty clear that she has. But
I disagree.
I don't expect you. Okay, that's
I
fine.
just disagree. I think that from my understanding, as long as she doesn't talk about you and Destiny, or Destiny in general, I think that suffices for me. But again, bringing this up and making the case, that's totally okay to do.
Say
as
my
well.
name.
I think that's well within your right.
I would like to expand us not talking about Destiny to include us not referencing Destiny, even if we're not referencing him by name, not referencing the very public falling out that Lav and I simultaneously had with Destiny, not referencing Patreon posts about Destiny in which Lav made comments about other people, not referencing really any of this complex network of relationships and contributing
What
to
was that?
dogpiling on
Sure.
a
Okay.
person that I care about.
Do you agree to
problem.
those rules?
No problem,
Stop.
dude.
Okay, no
I have no
problem. We
intention
can
of
move
doing
on.
that.
Excellent.
None.
I will hold you
Zero.
both. I will hold you both to this standard, and from now on and out, we will finish. Like we have reached the hour mark, but I think in the interest of the conversation, if you
gotta
are
keep
both
going.
okay with it,
Yeah.
that we should go on for another 15 minutes to maybe get to something of substance, and then we can have open call-ins. Is that acceptable to both of you?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, they haven't
Yeah.
talked about anything yet.
Excellent.
Damn.
So let me ask you, and I'll start with you, Brianna. Right? Man, now I'm unsure if. Okay, give me a moment to get myself together. Okay, so when it comes to false allegations in general, you said you had other examples. Please don't bring the Lav example up. When it comes to these other examples, how do you think this relates to rape culture today?
So I want to be clear, it wasn't about false allegations specifically, but it's about the damage that happens to women. This is a really big story that came out yesterday. So the CDC has been measuring what is happening to young girls in this country. And the increase in girls that are claiming that they've been raped out there has absolutely skyrocketed. 15% of teen girls have said they were forced to have sex, an increase of 27% over 2 years, and the first increase since the CDC began tracking it. From this evidence, I think it's very clear. Like, I don't think all of these people are Harvey Weinstein that are leading to this situation. I think that with the pandemic and social media, I think that there's a culture where we are not understanding each other. Part of it is because we've not been at each other's presences, and there are other statistics that are happening behind the scenes, like the diagnoses of ADHD and social anxiety disorder. They're going through the roof. I think these are very clearly leading to some very mixed signals that are leading to these disastrous outcomes for it. So, in my view, the best way forward on this is to move to a very clear standard of communication about what the intent is with consent. Something, Max, in the research I've done, you've said repeatedly that you just want it to be clear. So I'm giving you an extremely clear way to get there.
I've said repeatedly what?
That when it comes to consent, you want people to be very clear with their motivations.
But it's
and their
impossible to be
intention.
clear. Oh, is he gonna let that happen? Oh, he's trying to think if he should disagree or not. He's like, do I want to fight on every single point?
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Okay.
Okay. Do you mind if I asked you a question, Mr. Girl? Do you think? Okay, thank you. Do you think that most people who commit rape, do they believe that they are raping someone else, or do you think it's more of they are just ignorant to how consent should work?
I think most people who commit rape by the legal definition probably know that they are raping someone else.
Ooh.
Interesting. What would you agree with that, Brianna, or no?
No, I don't have any experience with this. I did, when I was running for office, meet a lot of people that work in special victims units, and I got to know people that work in this field. What I heard over and over was one of the reasons it was really hard to prove these cases, because two people had a story that didn't make sense. So my contention, and I don't have any studies here to back it up today, but what my guess would
I have
be
no idea what we're talking about.
is, I'm going to finish what I'm saying, is that there's some
really wish you wouldn't.
percentage of people, I would guess, let's say 10%, that are out there. They're the Harvey Weinsteins of the world, right? They get off on the power, they enjoy violating boundaries. That's the sexual thrill to them. I think a large number of the case are people that are misreading cues from other people, and they end up in bad situations.
Okay. Thank you.
Wait, this is a disaster. This conversation is a complete unmitigated disaster.
He can't just have a conversation ever. It's like impossible.
Fair enough. Do you want to continue it?
Yeah, I'm not trying to leave. I'm just saying, like, I still don't know what we're talking about. I thought what we agreed
Seems
to
pretty
talk.
easy to follow to me.
Ooh.
Well, we don't need to. Okay. We don't need those. Brianna, please, with the wipes. Okay. But go on.
I thought what we agreed to talk about was originally in DMs. I thought what we agreed to talk about was whether my approach to discussing consent was responsible or effective or something, and then to compare it to Brianna's and figure out if they're, I guess whose is better, or if I'm bad or something. Then when we started the conversation, it seemed like we were going that direction too. I asked, what are we talking? I kept saying, what are we talking about? And I thought we agreed to talk about how to, or if there's a way to, take a kind of weirder outlier approach to talking about consent and have that coexist with a mainstream approach, which is better. Should I exist? Should my videos about consent exist? Are they just bad and wrong? Do they just hurt people? Are they confusing and misleading young men and young women? Or is there a place for that kind of conversation? And when should those conversations happen? How do we square ambivalence, which exists in everyone, with the ideal, which maybe broadly statistically can happen often, but definitely not all the time. And there's nobody who's gone through their life without a lot of ambivalence, like I said. I thought that's what we were going to talk about. But then Brianna said she wanted to talk about what's the best mainstream, statistically broad approach. And then I said, I thought we weren't talking about that. Then we agreed to not talk about that. And then she brought up Lav and Destiny, which I felt sucked into that conversation despite not wanting to have it, because I felt that I had to not allow her to slander
my daughter,
Lav. And now we're back to the other conversation we just agreed to not have, where Brianna is listing the best mainstream approach to consent.
May I try to maybe build this bridge here and kind of elaborate a little bit on what I felt was being discussed? I think that Brianna is suggesting that we have a crisis of consent that is emerging, and she is wanting to know, as I think I also want to know, how you fit into that, where you and your content fits into this crisis of consent. Is it helping? Is what you're doing having what's a word? Forgive me. Sometimes I'm bad with words, but if it has a not a negative, but if it kind of synthesizes, if it synthesizes with it in a way that can actually be helpful, or if it is at odds with it and combative against it, and it's something we need to fight you on. That's what I thought we were going to be discussing as well. That's what I want to discuss. And I'm trying to facilitate that discussion as best as I can. You are right. It has been a disaster. I think I let the lab thing go on too long because, again, you seem to want to talk about it, and so I allowed you the space to do so.
I don't want to talk.
That's fair.
It's like
in that case,
I just want to protect. Just want to protect.
I understand.
My friend.
I understand.
Yeah.
But
My
in that
friend
case,
or my
I
daughter?
do want to talk about, again, Brianna is mentioning that we have this emerging crisis of consent. Do you think that your videos, that your way of tackling these problems, can it synthesize and help Brianna's position here, or should we just be fighting you?
Why? Why does it do that?
I think that there is a problem with content creators in general being too sponsored and too ad oriented, where your content has to be an endorsement of what you're describing, unless you are virtue signaling or shaking your finger. I think it's easy to think that if I say something like, some people after being molested or raped develop sexual fetishes about the molestation or the rape and fantasize about it for the rest of their lives. If I say something like that, people think that I'm saying that's good, or that's normal, or that I like that, or that that's how it should be. But I'm just saying that's kind of how it is. That's just one of those weird things about humans.
Brianna.
And I think that
Finish, and then
He ain't
so
done.
I think if I'm talking about something like the quote earlier that Brianna read, where I said that if you tell women that it's possible to have no ambivalence about sex, ironically, they will shut themselves off from their ambivalence to convince themselves that they're not having ambivalence so that they can have sex, which is only going to make them more ambivalent.
Brianna, may I ask you just real
I think
quick?
there's a, wait, I want to answer your question.
Oh.
I think
Please.
there's a place. I think there is a place for MrGirl in the world. Yeah, I think there's a place to have those conversations. I mean, people are having those conversations in academia constantly. Like the stuff I'm saying is not controversial at all if you're in like a college setting or especially a grad school setting. I think the real question is, in the world of virtue signaling and sponsors and selling yourself, is there room for it? And I would say, yeah, there should be. I guess I disagree that what Brianna and et al. Are doing is trying to prevent rape. I think she's running for office.
Then can I ask Brianna directly, right? Same question with a small addendum as well, right?
Please.
Do you think that there is a place for Mac's content as you understand it and as he's outlined it today? Do you think that it's going to help your cases, or do you think it is necessarily at odds? In what way, if any, are Max's stances on rape and consent harmful, or are they harmful at all?
Yeah,
What do you think?
sure.
Can you elucidate
I think
that
I
for
said this from the beginning, so I'm going to repeat. This was one of the first sentences I said to you, Max. am completely willing to concede. I don't fully agree, but just for the sake of this argument, I'm just going to concede it. I'm going to say, I agree that there are questions to be had in this vein. Now, coming to something you said where you think the discussions you had are entirely in line with what's in academia, I don't think an academic would say, quote, I am not aware of any flaws in how we prosecute rapes other than they are underreported. I don't think you would find that in academia, but I'm willing to completely cede your point there. What I'm trying to convince you here is that you're attacking a question that is not helpful. I don't think it's the main problem that we're having. The main problem we are having in society when it comes to consent is we're not understanding each other, and I think we're trying to defeat the other side. And I think you don't have to lose for everyone else to win. I think we can come together and make a more clear standard, and I think it would be more beneficial for everyone involved.
Response.
That's not a response to the question that you were.
Max is like, he can't
Yeah, it
engage with
is.
anything outside of like this particular type of
Okay.
thing he wants to talk about, I guess.
All right, so you're saying,
It's pretty clear what she's saying, I think, but
okay.
I'll
do
repeat
you
it a
think-
third time very super quickly, just so we
Do
can
you-
move off this. Yeah, so
I don't.
this
I don't
is my
think that's
contention.
gonna. I don't. I would
This
like.
is my
Both of you,
contention.
I will
Please,
mute you
for the
both.
love of God.
I swear to God. Okay, Mr. Girl, why is it not what she said sufficient? Can you elucidate for that for us? Why is
I
what
thought-
she
I-
said
Okay.
insufficient?
I believe the question you asked her was, "Is there room for?" I would call it more higher level.
rape?
Your style of content is what I said. So,
Yeah, my style of it's okay. You said the question is there room for my style of content in the fight against rape, or am I hurting it? Should I be deplatformed? Am I the enemy? Should you be shouting me down, arguing against me, or is there a place for that in the fight against rape? I think that's what you were asking.
and to be clear, what I heard her say, and maybe I just maybe I'm hearing voices or something, but she said directly, I thought, yes, there is a place for you. Did you
Yeah.
not, Brianna?
That's exactly what I said. I said, in my
Wait,
view...
I would like to. Can I finish talking?
Please. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Floor's yours.
Wait, I
Floor's
thought
yours.
you just asked. Okay. So her answer is yes, there's a place for you, but you are focusing on the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Okay. I think his question wasn't, is there a place for me? It was, is there a place for the things I am saying?
That's the same thing that we're talking about. Oh my
And it
god,
sounds
the
like the answer
distinctions
is no.
that he tries to draw are so silly.
That's not what I said, dude. I will repeat it to you a fourth time.
We don't need to. We don't need to repeat.
I'm not asking you to repeat yourself. I'm saying that it sounds like there's a contradiction. Also, I still don't really know what we're talking about. But I'm starting to give up on there being like a form to the conversation. So I'm just going to respond to the last thing that was said to me in a vacuum. I thought you were asking Brianna to square, I guess, what that place would be. What is the place in the fight against rape for talking about somebody getting raped but sort of kind of wanting it, or somebody having consensual sex but sort of kind of not wanting to and feeling raped by that? Those weird conversations that I like to have, to, as I said earlier, make a safe place for all the forgotten children who are left behind, as I was when my wife was giving me that nightmarish blowjob.
Well, I guess I will ask you, Brianna, directly what he just said. Do you think, right, what is the place for those conversations? Do you think that someone talking about how they have a, that they, during the rape, they were enjoying it or whatever, or, I won't put more words in his mouth too much, but
Sure.
do you think that it's okay to and maybe even helpful at times to have those types of conversations?
No. It's hard. So, Max, one of the things that made this really hard to study ahead of time is it's hard for me to sit there and listen to some of the things that you say about consent. So, but that doesn't make it inherently wrong to talk about. I think, in my view, if you're asking, is this helpful? Like, I have to take your videos as you broadcasting, like trying to influence young men to say, hey, you need to think about consent in a very, very murky kind of way. And I think it's the wrong question because we need to be thinking about consent in a way that stops harm for the most people possible.
MrGirl, is that what you were trying to do with your content, to influence men to think of consent in a murky way?
I am trying to provide a context and a language for people who are not, who don't feel heard or understood by.
I think if nobody can ever summarize your point, if nobody can ever repeat back your argument, if nobody can ever say something that you've said that's satisfactory, you have to work on your communication. I don't know if there's ever been a debate where somebody has rephrased something Max has said, except for me, because I'm the Max whisperer. I don't know if anybody's ever rephrased anything that he said back to him and him agreed with it without him having to talk for another 15 seconds till I don't think that's ever happened.
Mainstream consent ideology or language. So as I told in the story that my chat is now dubbing the blowjob from hell, I was I was one of those people who was in a situation where I didn't have the vocabulary or understanding to even begin to think about what I was feeling. And I am, yeah, I'm not, I mean, I can see you're saying you're concerned that I'm going to influence men to think of consent in a murkier way.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to do is provide a language and understanding and intimacy around those confusing, we're calling them outlying situations that mainstream consent talk doesn't address.
Sure. I really hear you there. I think that it's a situation that if that's the standard people are thinking about, I think they are statistically more likely to end up in a frankly, a rape case down at the county courthouse. I think it's something, if you've got a kink with this stuff, I think you should work it out with your partner, have very clear guidelines, but I think it's a relatively dangerous situation for all involved, for the rest of society, in my view.
We have.
If I'm talking about every normal everyday people feeling ambivalence about sexual situations, I think when you respond about like rape kinks and how people should work that out with their partners instead of raping women, it just seems like you don't understand or pretending not to understand what I'm talking about. That's definitely not what I'm talking about.
Can I say something really charitable to you, Max? I think
no, that's not charitable. That is already not charitable.
No, I'm asking if I can say something to you.
No, you can't now, because if you announce that you're being charitable, you're actually not being charitable.
Okay, I'm going to say something.
It is literally logically impossible for you to now be charitable after having announced that you're being charitable.
Okay. What I would urge you to understand, I think you and I have very different psychologies, and I said this at the very beginning. One of my weaknesses in these kinds of discussions is I'm very, very, very pragmatic. I tend to think of things as systems, and I tend to be very, very focused on outcomes. Something I noticed is you're very, very meta. You enjoy that gray area. And I said this before we started. I said I suspected this would be it would make it difficult for us to have a conversation because I am always going to be more focused on these systems. I think you're more interested in the meta discussion.
Okay, I'm going to step in. Here, gang, because this has been probably the most difficult conversation I've had to sit and be in. It has been interesting at points. We are at time, though, and there are people who want to come in and ask you both questions. Is that still something you're both willing to do?
Absolutely.
Max?
Yeah.
Okay. Weaponized discourse. Send in the first person.
From the
I have
top
to DM her too because there's a delay,
ropes.
and otherwise we're just gonna be sitting here.
From the top ropes.
I will say, while we're waiting, though, that I think that my opinion in this, not that I was asked, but Max, I think there absolutely is a place for you at the table. I think having these conversations, these difficult conversations, is helpful to understand what people think, what the average person, how they go through life and dealing with interpersonal relationships, romantic and otherwise. I do wish we had time to get to consent on a non-sexual basis, because I think there are things to be said about that, and there are things to be said about that. But I have talked enough. Hello.
Hi.
Oh
I
my
popped in
God.
to see Dad for like
Hey.
a second.
Hello, sweet pea.
Hello.
I know
And
that
all of a
I'm dreading the texts that we're gonna have after this. I know I got roped into talking about you, but I did my best.
No, well, what's interesting is that one, maybe I just wasn't here long enough for the conversation, but I have no idea why the fuck I was brought up.
I'm surprised that Max is letting her have this conversation. I think that when he I'm in wild speculation territory, by the way. Wild speculation territory. So I could be talking about, but I think that he's smart when it comes to exerting control on people. And I think that Lav is probably a little hard for him to control. But I bet they had DMs beforehand where he was like, you shouldn't come on, you should come on. She's like, no, I need to. He's like, you shouldn't. But if he were to like not flex, but if he were to like superimpose stuff really hard, he'd be like, I'm not gonna let you. He knows he would like lose that veil of like, oh, I'm just doing what's best for you. It would be too controlling. But I'm really surprised he let her come on here. But
that's number one.
My theory is that Brianna did it to piss me off and sidle up to Destiny, but that's just a theory.
And also, then I find out, because Brianna, I didn't know who you were.
Oh,
Then I find out that you're running
fairly
for office or
infamous
something.
online, so I'm not running for office.
Oh well, I looked up your
She
Twitter
did.
at least and saw that you were at least a notable figure, and then I was like, this woman who knows nothing about the situation is just calling me a
Oh
malicious
no,
liar.
I watched all of. I'm so embarrassed to say I watched all of it. So
Well, you didn't know that he threatened legal action, and then I had to clarify the age.
Good. I'm glad he did.
Yeah, but and then when he was making the stream, he then tried to smear me by saying I said it because he wouldn't f me.
Wait,
Did you miss
repeat
that?
Can you repeat that, please?
I don't think it's relevant. He can speculate on whatever the he wants to. That's his prerogative. If Hasan wants to guess that, that's his thing to guess.
On the stream where he is bringing up the false allegation, and he doesn't prove
Yes.
that she was of age.
How would he even prove that? He doesn't want to give her age. What do you mean? If he was wrong, then why did you edit your stuff?
Okay.
He then says that I made it up because he wouldn't fuck me. And then he
Okay,
was like, and I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I didn't
So I
realize-
just
If he said that, then I would not say that he handled it well. Obviously, I didn't.
yeah,
know
no,
he said that.
he handled it fine because he didn't talk about it again, right?
So I watched this today, and I'm just going to tell you what my recollection of this was. So he addressed the underage issue first and foremost, and then he went and read your DMs, and it
And tried to
certainly-
publicly embarrass me.
Lav, I'm going to finish what I'm saying. And then from the outside, it certainly seemed to me like you were trying to, like there are two interpretations of what you did. Either you were trying to sidle up to him in an amorous way, or you were trying to get information to drop this nuke on him. And he kind of read them and showed how he just kind of basically stayed away from you and was talking about the situation there. And just so we're very clear here, because I really do want to be clear, the reason I was bringing this up is because
But given who the person is, the accusations are so psychotic, they would make mainstream fucking news. And this person would probably, again, get sued for a lot of money. Not by me, by the way.
Hasan didn't even threaten, technically, legal action. He was just saying she probably would get sued by the other person.
For making this shit up. Oh, we just massage the numbers a little bit. We just massage the numbers a little bit. You know what I mean? I was like, how f***ed up is that? You're really gonna turn around and act like you're just gonna weaponize this shit? You're gonna make this shit up? What a psychotic, insane thing to do. I wasn't even gonna cover this until later. I wasn't even gonna get into this until later. But of course, because I have so many. She's never coming forward, so I'm not either.
Where are his DMs with Lav? Oh, hey there, hold on.
Because when I found out this was the person, when I found out this was like a person saying insane shit, I looked her up. I was like, who the fuck is this? Do I know this person? And I looked and I found that we had DMs, okay?
Oh, she was trying to fuck him hardcore.
Like that she had DM'd me.
Yeah, she was flirting super
and,
hard.
I'm saying like impressive. What other hidden skills you have? Like little flirtations. I have the power to get random men in IDM from the bath to flirt with me. With great power comes great responsibility. I hope you're using it for good. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm very reckless with this power. So far, so good to be honest. Good to hear I'm not fucking this up. I think we accidentally met in 2018 while you were on a FaceTime with bleep. I feel like I'm not making this up. It was brief. I haven't even an ounce as hot as then I am now. So you're off the hook if you don't remember. And I think then she like asked me about. Hold on, let me see. I'll look it up right now. I just like screenshotted this. But does she still have an Instagram? It's also from 20. I talked about what somewhere like whole interpretation of this is that like.
Okay, so Hasan's interpretation wasn't really even off. Right?
I've been so frustrated with this whole situation. It wasn't your story to tell. I think you did a real disservice to the feminist movement. I think it makes it so much harder to have
You're right.
any
Women
kind of
shouldn't come forward
conversation.
about
Stop. Both of you.
about
Both of you
this.
stop real quick. Both of you stop. We're gonna let Brianna finish, and then we're going to
Thank
give
you.
Lav full space to respond. So once Brianna finishes, Lav, you will have the floor for as long as you need. Is that okay?
Wait, can I say something to Lav really quick?
Concisely, please, sir.
Lav, get out of here. It's dangerous.
Leah,
Uh-huh.
don't get sucked into explaining yourself.
Oh my god. What? I pre-watched. I pre-watch everything. I pre-watch it all. That's what's happening right now. You guys think that maybe I'm making these calls because these people are super predictable, but like I actually just watch it all. But that's why my stream was so late today. I was watching this whole video so that I could predict every single thing that was going to happen. That's exactly what happened here.
I won't get too sucked in.
You're already sucked in.
But I'm strapping in.
Don't explain yourself to these fucking people.
I will.
Noted. Okay.
Don't.
I'll call you to cry about it later.
Noted.
I know.
Let me get it out.
Brianna,
Okay.
Sure.
finish what you were saying.
I think that this whole situation, you represent yourself repeatedly as like a sex positive feminist, a form like you've come out one day you're talking on an anti-pornography stance, the other you're
Okay,
talking
so now
about
this is just me.
And
So now it's not about.
what I'm saying loud.
She just hates
No,
you.
because
Lav. She just
I
hates
don't
you.
I don't really know where you're going with this. Because
can you
first it was
please-
an allegation.
Okay,
Can you
okay,
please
stop, both of you. Brianna, be brief, finish,
Sure.
and then Lav, I will give you all the space you need. Is that okay?
Incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the
The reason
rope
I brought this up
all the rope
is
you need.
Oh my god, they're so cringe. Holy
Wick,
shit.
I really need you to moderate.
Oh my
I
god.
will mute both of
Finish what I'm
them
saying.
until you are finished. How is that?
Fantastic. It's not going to be very long.
Please.
The reason I brought this up is if we're talking about consent, as I said earlier, the main example in recent memory of a woman making some allegations that turned out to be entirely false is you. You are the very best example of that. So for me, as someone who's trying to talk about this, if I'm trying to get buy-in from people, if I'm trying to say, guys, this is in your best interest, you are an excellent example
What do you want?
of why it is in their.
Oh, I was watching and I caught what Lav said and it fucking makes me so upset. But she 100% maintains that person that Hasan had sex with was underage. She might say publicly like, that she walked it back or whatever her Patreon says or whatever. But I've talked with her about like in Discords after she made that Patreon post, and she 100% believes that person was underage. But she will just say that like she doesn't want to say it publicly anymore because she's apparently so scared of being sued by Hasan or whatever. So like you see it when she goes on here and she'll do the thing where she's like, oh, he hasn't provided proof that she's not underage or whatever, but she'll never actually like make a clear stance at all that she was because
Okay.
I unfortunately I don't have logs because it was a fucking call, but it's fucking irritating.
Wow.
That's all.
Thanks a lot. Have fun. Be careful.
Your best interest to think about enthusiastic consent as a standard because you might have some person on the internet makes some utterly false claims about you, and then people are going to have to evaluate your character.
Okay, with that, we will be allowing the response. And Brianna, until they're done, I would ask that you not interject. Go ahead.
So when you say that I like came out about this like allegation, first of all, I never wanted this to be like a thing.
Wrong. Lie. That's wrong. And that is a lie.
Felt like I was forced to because it was being held over my head.
Lie.
Obviously,
Also
Max
a
already
lie.
brought that up. Nobody
Also a lie.
understands how this could possibly,
That's because you're lying. Nobody ever held anything over your head. You're being a liar, but that's okay.
how I could have possibly have felt that, especially with the witch hunt that's going on now. How
You
could I have
compulsive-
possibly
you also
not wanted it to
compulsive-
come out?
You compulsively blurt things out.
Sure. So this was, I think I had done one Chud Logic thing about sex work at this point. There were 5 people in chat and it refreshed every 24 hours, right? I'm not going to fucking over-explain myself again. Someone, I think it was Chud's editor, I'm not going to say it for fucking sure, screenshotted it, sent it to every fucking drama channel. Steven told me he was keeping everyone at bay.
I don't
Okay?
think I never said that ever. I don't. How the fuck would I keep anybody at bay? Please show me the log. Show me anything. Say that to me. I never said I was keeping anybody at bay. How the fuck could I even do that? Why do you think I would have the power to keep people from gossiping? Also, Chud's Discord does not wipe every fucking 24 hours or whatever. That's a lie too. Also, even if it did, how stupid are you to think that you could say something and it not be screenshotted in a fucking public Discord?
Didn't realize how bad I fucked up. Obviously, it wasn't my story to tell, but I wasn't even alleging that he was a fucking pervert freak. I was alleging that he was a hypocrite, and he is. 2 weeks after, he brings up how she was 19 and of age. He calls Greta Thunberg a teenager, same age, trying to talk about Andrew Tate and how it's inappropriate that he wants to talk about Greta's genitals. When he fucked my friend, though, she was a legal adult. She was a consenting legal adult, not a teenager. He's a hypocrite. He's a piece of shit. That's what I was bringing up. I don't think he's a freak. I don't even care about the age of fucking consent. She could have been 16, 17. I'm in a state right now where the age of consent is 16. I don't give a shit. He's not a predator. He's a fucking hypocrite.
Then she should have just said that, oh, well, I think Hasan has fucked teenagers before. You should have just said that then. Why lead with the 17-year-old thing? Why lead with that over and over and over and over and over again?
That was what I was fucking saying. Everyone has tried to make this into an issue. I never wanted it to fucking be. And you can act all fucking shocked.
How would it be a nuke? How is it a nuke? Also, no, she's fucking lying. You were no, she's lying again. Because she brought up this nuke way before Hasan brought up anything about Greta Thunberg or whatever. She brought up this nuke a long time ago. Fucking, like, maybe a year ago. How long has it been? Like, this is so stupid for her to pretend like this was just in response to that. She's been holding on to this quote-unquote nuke for a while.
Fucking US agrees with me that the age of consent is 16 or something like it. I doubt that anyone thinks that he's a fucking pedophile. I certainly don't think he's a pedophile. I just think he's a fucking hypocrite. When I came forward in my public statement that was available for him to explicate, I had said, well, first of all, I said she was like 17 because I was 17 and we are very similar in ages. Okay? So she is a couple months earlier than me. Then he says that I could be, you know, someone was going to take legal action. He basically says on stream like a soft threat of like someone could do something about this, me or the girl. And so immediately I'm like, fuck, well, I'm just going to say that I'm just going to go with his story. And again,
Yeah, so then it was 17. So Lav still contends that it is 17. Because if she's saying that that other friend is a few months earlier than her, and now she's saying that she was 17, so then she is reiterating the 17 thing. Okay.
he lied even in that story. He said that he was 24 and she was 19. And then he goes on publicly to say who she is. And their ages he lied about their fucking...
Wait, did he say publicly ever? I mean, I think we all know who he is. If you type it in my chat, I'm banning you for being a fucking retard. Because I'm not trying to fucking get anybody harassed her over this. But I'm pretty sure we all know, or most people know who it is. And the ages that Lav are giving don't line up. But...
fucking ages.
May I ask?
Hasan never said the name.
May I ask? Can I ask you, Lav? And please don't take this the wrong way. But are we here? Like, what are we here for? Are we here to ask to relitigate this Or are we?
Wait.
No,
I
this
think it's
is-
totally
this
fair.
is-
Wait, I think it's totally fair if you're gonna let Brianna come and make unfounded claims about
No,
Lav without
I'm
the
not
quotes.
saying she can't. I'm asking what she wants here. I'm asking.
She's here
what
to
her
shit
purpose
on
is.
Brianna for saying retarded shit. That's what
Yeah,
she's here to do.
I'm here to fucking set the record straight. I hate this fucking witch hunt that's going on. I think it's extremely anti-feminist that you're spewing this
Oh my
bullshit
God.
about me coming forward about something I was like barely fucking coming forward about.
Okay, so to-
something that I
just-
was extorted to come forward about.
To be clear, what you're
Extorted?
saying
And
is
also, wait,
when-
hold on. And then this is the last thing I'll fucking say is that you were like, because Hasan has a long history of what the fuck ever. Yeah, his long history of going to brothels to pay for fucking sex. What about
Oh,
enthusiastic
give me a
consent there?
break.
That's a way different thing. Oh, a guy's paid. In that case, every single guy that's bought your OnlyFans is a rapist, Lav. How stupid.
Is that enthusiastic consent, Brianna? You tell me.
I'm pro sex work. I don't care if his son
Is
goes
no.
to a brothel.
I didn't ask you if you were pro sex work. I said, is that enthusiastic consent? Why don't you explain to me the nuances of paying for sex? Is that enthusiastic
Unlike
consent?
you,
Brianna?
I don't have an issue with sex work. I think
I'm not
I have
asking
no
you if
issue
you do,
with
babe.
that.
I'm not asking you if you do. I'm asking about the enthusiastic consent ethics of paying for sex.
I don't have an issue with it.
And what about when Steve
Technically, paying for sex with a prostitute that's working with their own free volition, that is actually enthusiastic consent. They are very clearly wanting it because they're charging you for it because it's a financial arrangement, right? Technically, that would meet the threshold, assuming they're working of their free will and they're not being like forced into sex slavery or whatever. That is technically enthusiastic consent.
even brought up that and actually lied to thousands of people on stream that he went to a brothel that
Are we
was trafficking
still
children.
going
What
with
about
the
that?
rule to not talk about Destiny? Is this still a rule?
Everybody
I think
love-
I'm talking
Lav-
about
I
it.
think
They all
Shut
love
up.
talking about me.
Talk
Max
about
can
it.
leave if he's uncomfortable.
Talk about me.
I'm just
yes.
making
He knows
sure.
how to set his own boundaries. He'll f***ing tell you.
I am making sure for my edification. Continue.
No, but I want to know why I was the one who was the most notable person to come out when
Yes.
that
That is a
wasn't
good.
even
That is
my
a good
fucking
point.
deal.
That Destiny falsely accused Hasan of going
That was
to.
much worse.
But why are you talking about me? Wait, how the f I get roped into this?
Going to a
But I'm the,
brothel
but
that
I'm the,
traffics
witch, I'm
children.
the
Okay.
public witch burning.
I'm going to.
Hasan did go to that brothel, by the way. There's pictures of it. True. Is it worse to accuse somebody of going to a brothel that at one point had trafficked kids? Or is it worse to say, like, oh, I know for sure you minor? I don't know if that...
To give Brianna a space to respond to all that.
I don't want Brianna to have a space to respond.
Well, I
Fuck
do,
her.
because I'm the moderator.
No. Brianna came on. Brianna
I
came on.
understand.
And
I don't know if it's true or not, but the real fact is that there's probably a good chance that if you ever go to a brothel in Europe, they probably trafficked somebody at one point. Just be careful. If you care about that shit.
Brianna,
But she is the. I am the moderator, and I will give her the space. I understand what you think about this, MrGirl. I get it, but we got to give her space to respond. Are we clear?
leaving if you do this.
You're leaving. if I do this.
Brianna attacked Lav out of nowhere after we agreed not to talk about Destiny. She's clearly breaking the rule by doing that. She literally brought Destiny up. She attacks Lav. Lav gets to come on and say her piece.
She
I
has.
think we should. I think.
Do you not
yes,
think
and I
I'm
don't-
letting
don't-
Lav say her piece right
you
now?
said you literally said right before Lav started talking. Okay, Brianna, I'm going to let you say one more thing, and then Lav, you get to defend yourself. Lav has defended herself. I think we should leave it at that. I don't want to keep going back
Fair
and
enough.
forth. Brianna, and
Yeah.
I don't want it to go another cycle of back and forth. And I sure as fuck don't want Brianna to have the last word on this.
Okay.
Damn.
Lav.
Well,
We're going to-
first
Lav.
of all, I want,
Lav.
we can move it on.
We are going to move on. Do you have any
But I
other
want,
questions?
but now I want to talk because this whole panel was supposed to be about enthusiastic consent. I want to hear about what Brianna thinks about the ethics of paying for sex and if that's enthusiastic consent. If she's pro sex work.
I think it can be.
Okay, cool. We've heard that. Lav, thank you for coming on. But we have a large room, so we're going to send you away. And
All
we
right.
can talk about this another day if you'd like.
Okay.
Talk to you later, Lav. Leah.
Okay, well, I thought it was going to be easy day, gang. I thought we were going to have an easy time. I'd let them drive the conversation, but obviously we can't be easy on Wick. Okay, weaponized discourse, next.